own the chaos. The stock market is crazy and chaotic.
Oh my God, are you seeing this shit, bro? Tesla closed at $695. What the hell is going on?
Brad and Fat Man Zoom are here to help you own it.
Now with IBM getting here, I think it's just going to come more to the forefront, and people are going to get more and more eyeballs on Salesforce. Should see a really nice move.
Taking it to the suits, being relatable and hilarious.
We got D's nuts in the crew. Every crew needs D's nuts. You know what D's nuts' #1 holding is? Big C.
Get ready to own the chaos in 3, 2, 1.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the Chaos. My name is Brad. That guy over there is Fat Man Zoom. The stock market's crazy and chaotic. We made it our mission to help you own it, and we're just chilling on the couch. Who gives a F? You know why? Because it was actually kind of boring, and then we came out with Lucid news. So now we got something to talk about.
I know. We couldn't figure it out. We're like, talking about oil? We're talking about Bitcoin?
Oh, the energy stocks were kind of moving, but the stock market in general was pretty flat. But Lucid Motors, as of my last check, is up around 30%. Well, I should not say Lucid Motors. Churchill Capital, ticker symbol CCIV, is up 30%. And it is presumed that it is for sure going to be Lucid Capital. Still no official word, but it looks like they're in talks, and this is actually going to be a thing. So the question remains, is it a buy or is it not? We'll get into all of that, but first, let's welcome everybody to the channel.
Starting 5, Eric Brands, Arnie Vanaker, G Money, Jason Toscano, and Vinay. Welcome.
You're the first 5 that, don't have a life. Congrats. So, yeah, man, if you guys have not been privy to this information, it actually just came out not too long ago. And the electric vehicle maker Lucid Motors nears a SPAC deal, according to sources. This could roughly evaluate to be about a $12 billion SPAC deal, which, wow, bro, that would be the largest EV SPAC deal to date.
That's incredible.
They only have one vehicle. And it is now at $55 a share-ish.
So the question is...
It was at 55. The question is...
Is it too late to buy?
Is it too late to buy? Is it too late to buy?
I mean, you're the resident expert.
I just wanted to get your thoughts on this.
Yes.
It is too late to buy.
I mean, I don't know. It depends on your time horizon. Will I be trading it? No.
Yeah.
I'm not. Great.
Yeah, so just to give you a little bit more context, I think that this is probably too late to buy, or it's worth waiting for a dip. And the reason I say that is because, after all, it is a SPAC play. It's still very speculative. They have some pretty bold claims that they have the most advanced technology in EVs. I would imagine that Tesla has something to say about that, but they are pretty compelling. So some of the numbers that I've seen coming out of the Lucid Air, which is their only vehicle, just want to reiterate that their only vehicle that they have their i4 chips and 8 cameras for a driver assistant feature. So it is autonomous. It's autonomous ready. Top speed of 217 miles an hour, which is pretty impressive. And they have software modifications that can boost this up to 235 miles an hour, 1,000 horsepower, all kinds of crazy shit with this thing. It is impressive, but I think that we're jumping the gun here a little bit as far as how this may come to sustain. I've made mentions before, when Tesla came in, and I talked about how much of an insane accomplishment, feat, whatever it was to break into the automotive market, especially when you're dealing with the likes of Ford, GM, and Chrysler. And I think a lot of people roll their eyes at that, but they were the big 3 in America for 100 years. Nobody else was able to break that barrier to entry, and Tesla was the only one to do it. And now I think everybody seems to think that this is just going to be a thing where they're all just going to be able to break into the market and everybody can live in happiness.
Yeah. I don't know when the time's going to come, but there's going to be a time where it's not all hype, it's not all speculation.
Yeah.
And it's going to boil down to production and execution and customer sentiment and all that other stuff. So right now, you can just live off of hype. You can just tell me to move on my mic.
I didn't want to.
More disrespectful to a man.
I was trying to
than to touch his mic like that. The disrespect. And so for now and for the foreseeable future, until there are clear competitors to Tesla, you're going to see these hype runs, I believe.
Yeah. Well, and look, can it keep going? If it does and you're in it, I hope it does. Like, I hope it goes crazy. It's up 550%. Today's highs was up 550% from its default SPAC price. Granted, $12 billion valuation, it could be quite insane here. So there's definitely a lot of good things about the company that I like. If those numbers are all accurate and true, I like that a lot. I think that could definitely rival that of Tesla. But there's so many other factors here, and they don't have, an actual car to sell anybody yet. And I think, they have a product. It just hasn't gone to market. They're not actively selling it to anybody. Obviously, they're going public, so they have the means to do with that. All this means now, though, is that they have a long road ahead of them.
Yeah, they do. I think this could be... I'm not mad at anybody that wants to try to day trade this, play the momentum,
right.
Maybe short-term swing, keep a tight stop on it.
Yeah.
There could be that move. I would, if there was some massive profit taking, I would potentially do it. But we said the rumors, Nate talked about buy the rumor, sell the news. And unfortunately, this is a second round of rumors. We already had an inclination that it could be Lucid.
Right.
So there was a move up. We saw it. We saw it have that move and the excitement build. And this is great. Don't get me wrong. But it moved up to that 30. We thought 40 was getting kind of rich without the confirmation. And so, I think when it becomes official, I think there will be profit taking between now and actually the vote to merge.
Yes.
That's when I would probably consider, if there is a profit taking before the actual merger vote, I would potentially do that.
Yeah, some other people are bringing up some very good points. No sales and hype is pretty much all this is surrounding around, and that is fair. I think that is a very fair point to make. Funny Pranks Gone Wrong also pointed out that Lucid versus Tesla, if we're going to compare apples to apples here, Lucid's car is the Lucid Air that I was talking about with all those crazy numbers. It's $100,000. Teslas are much more affordable. We already talked about the Tesla, what is Model 2 that's coming out. That'll be the most affordable Tesla out there. So as far as reaching a mass market, obviously there's other players that have a much higher head start. And GM actually came out, and GM was up today quite a bit because GM came out and said that they are going to expand their Bolt platform. So there's just so many other things that are going against. There's a lot of headwinds here for Lucid and the SPAC play. I hope that it continues to roll. I just don't know if I can justify buying it all the way up here.
Yeah, and keep in mind, Tesla unveiled their Roadster, which was that would be apples to apples. As far as when they launched their company, the prototype was a Roadster. You have to actually, you have to lead with that to get brand recognition. It's actually a very common playbook in general. So from a scalability perspective, that's the way the playbook works for EVs.
Yeah.
So you should see them follow a similar map to Tesla, and you should expect to see the next car that's actually going to be the one that will compete with Tesla's lineup of vehicles. So you may see a sedan, you may see a SUV shortly thereafter, or a crossover type.
Yeah.
And so that's very normal, sort of the playbook that they're following.
Yeah, they claim, the other thing that I think is a bit of a bold claim is that it's the most advanced electric vehicle in the world.
Yeah. It's like restaurants. It's like, we have the world's greatest pizza, and it's like, where is that voting system that you claim you have the world's best?
Yeah, I mean, And the claims, I think, just have to remain to be seen. They do have some interesting things here. Lucid's car uses the 2170 standard for its lithium-ion battery cells, and supply agreements have been signed with both Samsung and LG Chem. So this is still legit. But again, like I said, I think there's a lot of headwinds here. So there's a lot of big players, and I think that they definitely stand to be in contention. Up to this point, the SPAC/EV play that I thought could actually stand in the market with the likes of Tesla, not beat them, not even really compete with them necessarily, but stand in the market, was Fisker. And I think that with their partnerships with Volkswagen and the like, I still think Fisker could live in this market. This could potentially be that too. And so, but again, that doesn't mean that this is a buy. You look at something like Fisker, and Fisker is kind of still just chilling down in that $20 range, even though it's made a strong move after we called it a buy, down below 15. But I think that there's going to be a time to buy CCIV. I just don't think it's right now. I think you're going to have better opportunities to get this at a lower price.
So if you had the opportunity to invest a sum of cash in either CCIV or Fisker, which one would you do?
Right now, I'll be buying Fisker.
Okay.
I mean, we can look at the chart here, and I'm just showing you guys right now about where the chart is and how this has been moving. This is CCIV right now, just on the intraday chart, and we come back out here to the daily, and it is just basically straight up over the last couple of weeks, really over the last month. And you go to look at something like Fisker, and the dust has settled, if you will. And this is kind of like the pattern that I think might end up taking place with CCIV, where the rumor was great. And here's what happened. If I go back on the weekly here, rumor was awesome. Made strong moves all the way up to $25. The vote went through, the merger went through, all that good stuff, and it plummeted down to $760. Yeah. And it's been slowly working its way back up. So this is what I'm saying. I'm not trying to dog Lucid. I'm not trying to say it's a turd of a company. I'm nothing like that. I'm just saying that buying it right now seems kind of crazy, and I think you're going to get better opportunities to get it at a lower price. But if you're looking at Fisker, this right now has better upside than CCIV does currently.
Right now, which EV companies would you put in your top three? Obviously, Tesla's number one.
If we take Tesla out of it, let's just remove Tesla from it.
That you would buy.
Yeah, GM,
okay,
Fisker, and quite possibly it could be CCIV.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I know that NIO's in there, so let's just knock that one out. So then it'll probably be Fisker, NIO, and GM.
Okay. Yeah, I would take NIO before I would take.
Yeah, I forgot about NIO. That was my fault. Sorry, NIO holders. That was blasphemous. That was my bad.
And where on that list exactly is Nikola?
Does it still exist?
That's a good question. Yes, it does. But what is it at? It's at 2193.
I can't believe that thing is still above 20. I can't believe it's not at 0.
I mean, it's got earnings on February 25th.
Yeah, it's going to have more revenue from Trevor Milton, I'm sure. The last earnings call, they had like, I don't know, a couple $100,000 in revenue, and it was for Trevor Milton's solar panels. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is ridiculous. Where is that guy? Did we find
I don't know. He's still missing.
Him and Jack Ma are just
I was going to say, notice how we were all about free and Jack Ma, and we did not give a shit about Trevor Milton.
Hell no. That's a joke. That was GameStop before GameStop.
That's right.
All right, what else is going on in the market?
So we originally were going to talk about oil and energy. Energy had really kind of taken a hit over the last couple of weeks and up until today. So we know that over the weekend, Texas and a lot of the other areas down south got hit by some crazy Arctic temperatures. Unbelievable cold front came down and really is just kind of sweeping the southern part of the nation. Doesn't really bother us too much here in old Baltimore, Maryland, because it's always cold this time of year. But, down south, they're not used to that sort of thing. So energy companies have basically been throttling some of their energy usage because they're not used to basically supplying them with the amount of energy they need to heat their homes, which is crazy to me, by the way. It's said to be Texas is said to be the energy capital of the world, and they can't keep the lights on down there.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like, what the hell's going on? But nevertheless, that's why we're starting to see oil make a pretty big spike. Also, there's some rifts going on in the Middle East, so there's another reason why we would see oil move up. So I want to actually kind of get your thoughts, and we had a little bit of a conversation here, but I want to kind of go a little bit more in depth with this. You actually are pretty bullish.
Optimistic.
Optimistic. That's probably a better word about oil in general and where it might be headed.
Yeah, I'll say the oil companies. And I know last year you had spoken, people had asked you about oil. You were kind of like, stay away a little bit. I'm looking at these companies that are recognizing the transition to clean energy and renewables and opportunities there.
Yeah.
And I think that from a short-term perspective, you could get a little bit of a bounce back. But then from a long-term perspective, those that see what's coming and that are making moves would benefit. We put BP on watch about a couple months ago it's been now. And really, they've made it clear that they're making that shift. And they have a 10-year plan by 2030 to move predominantly towards that clean energy, the renewables, and they're basically spreading it across all of them. And so
BP up 6% today.
Yeah, and ExxonMobil's up 3%. And the point I made was, regardless of, I don't think this is for those that are thinking this is like a Blockbuster, a Kodak type situation, I don't think this is.
Right.
Because of, one, they recognize it. It's so at the forefront of conversation. And they have such massive cash on hand that they can invest in it and they can make these changes. And I'm looking at the companies that are going all in on it. I think BP is. I'll say ExxonMobil is making a shift, but I think BP, the one to me that's like saying, hey, we're just making the shift. We're moving away from oil. We'll have a little bit of exposure to it, but I think that's going to be sort of an afterthought.
I do think it's ironic that, British Petroleum was so ostracized when it came to, the whole BP oil spill thing, and here they are trying to be green. It just feels ironic, but it'll be interesting. Can you imagine a world in which ExxonMobil is a green thinking company, like that kind of energy company, or even BP, for example? More focused on wind energy and all that. It makes sense though, right? Because I mean, if you are an energy company and you finally have decided that you're not going to fight this anymore, what can you do? You have shit ton of money on the books that you can spend and put towards, innovative things. Then why wouldn't you make this leap?
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense. And BP, I mean, petroleum's in the name.
Yeah.
So
right.
It is kind of ironic.
Yeah, it is a little bit weird.
But it's the natural progression, and so we'll see what happens with it. But I think this does give me optimism as far as, the state of oil is in such disarray, and people are really are moving away from it. And so if you're a business and you have this money, you already have the infrastructure in place, you already have the logistics in place, you have the ability to make the pivot, and let's see where it lands 3 to 5 years from now.
Yeah.
And especially 10 years from now, because, there's going to be some chips that fall, but then there's going to be others that actually are better because of this. And I liken it to somebody was saying Netflix, and their shift from DVDs to streaming.
Right.
I think that's a fair comparison. But when you're thinking about it, it's like, you've benefited and you've gotten fat and happy off of such an overexposure on oil and reliability on oil.
Yeah.
This is actually a great thing for those companies that do survive, because you don't want all your eggs in one basket. That run's going to end. Yeah,
and it is. And, I think they probably should have acted a little sooner, but I still think that there's time for them. And I think it'll be interesting to see how companies like Exxon and Halliburton even, and some of these other ones actually make the pivot as well. Like, which domino is going to be the biggest one that falls to where all of them just have to be try to rush towards the finish line.
Yeah. I don't know. It's going to be.
I could almost see like one of these companies acquiring one of these other, like First Solar or something like that.
Yeah.
That would make probably the most sense.
Yeah, that's true. Like one of the bigger companies buying these smaller guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be smart. That would be a good move. A couple people are asking about earnings.
Yep.
What do we have today after hours? Do you know offhand?
That was my next stop.
Is Fastly after hours today?
Fastly is pre-market Thursday, I believe.
Oh, okay. Guys, let us know. You guys are quicker at this than we are. What earnings are you guys watching today?
Thumbs up for being unprepared. Hold on. Let me see here. I got to pull it up. So you guys know the drill. At 3 o'clock, we go live, and then we'll give our earnings. So Palantir was pre-market today. CVS was also pre-market today. I didn't catch CVS. Palantir had pretty disappointing earnings, but they did beat on revenue. I did catch that. Occidental Petroleum, talking about oil, is after hours. So Ring Central, actually, that's one that I thought was going to be worth putting on the watch list for Stockwatch Sunday, and nixed it the last minute for Fiverr. But I think that's going to be the big one after hours. Is going to be Ring Central. That'll be one worth watching. There's Lazy Boy, a couple of other ones. Pre-market tomorrow that we should be talking about tonight is going to be Shopify, Wix, Garmin, probably going to be a good one too. So those are going to be a few. After hours tomorrow. So after hours on Wednesday is Fastly, Tilray, Twilio, SunPower, which made a hell of a move today as well. Marathon Oil, Sam Adams.
So CVS actually is down almost 5% today. They did report strong earnings. They beat 130 versus 124 expected. I don't want to say strong, but they did beat.
Yeah.
69.5 billion versus 68.75 billion in revenue. So, take what you will. It's around $70 a share.
Yeah.
But that's what happened with CVS today. Well, I don't know how much is the overall market because a lot of things sold off in general today.
The overall market, sold off earlier today, and now everything's just kind of flat and boring. So it's been a bit of a lackluster day. We look at CVS, and it is kind of down. And we look at the overall markets. Last I checked, they're still kind of flat. It's still pretty flat. NASDAQ's down slightly, but the Dow and S&P being up slightly. So bit of a boring day. And actually, I was a little bit surprised because pre-market was on fire. And then everything kind of sold off and stayed down here. So I like the fact that CVS is on sale. I think this is a huge buying opportunity, especially if it remains above $70.
Speaking of on sale and health company, Clover. Everybody's asking about Clover. It's one that we've had on the watch list numerous times.
Yeah.
Chamath special. I picked it up today as an asymmetrical trade. I have it in the long-term account as well. What are your thoughts on that?
I think this is also a really good solid buy. This was on the watch list this morning for our Chaos Crew folks, which, by the way, if you guys are interested in joining the Chaos Crew and getting a watch list from us every single morning before the market opens, and you want access to our portfolios that we make adjustments to every day, also access to our Discord group, make sure you're hitting the join button next to subscribe, or there's a link in the description as well. If you guys want to be part of the crew, we'd love to have you guys over there. But as far as Clover is concerned, this has been holding pretty decently in the mid-11s. I think that this is probably the bottom for it. We've seen it come down here before and make quite a bounce. So I think that this should be the bottom. I think down here is just an absolute joke.
So you feel confident anybody who added on to it today?
I would, yeah. And I actually contemplated it, but yeah, Fat Man Zoom also added to it. I saw a couple of other people did too within the crew. Should feel comfortable with that.
Yeah, Amar, I think, threw something out about it's looking like Rocket. And, I understand where that would come from. I don't necessarily agree with that. Rocket is such a different story as far as like...
You got to compare apples to apples.
Yeah. So when are their earnings? When does Clover have earnings?
I do not know.
I might actually pull that
They just
up.
had them in January 13th. So we.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Okay, so never mind.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I think I would love just a chamath Clover tweet. I know that
Yeah.
would do it.
Yeah.
But you know what's going to happen? Basically, this is a lot like other companies we've talked about that have specific big things happen, and we're waiting to see how it plays out.
Right.
I.e., NVIDIA and their acquisition that we're waiting to hear from, right? That like got held up in the UK.
Yeah.
Free chamath. When we didn't see chamath, people wait. Like there's a dip, it goes down, but then it kind of settles out, and you're just waiting.
Right.
And so with this, you know, you got the DOJ investigation, the SEC investigation, and their investigations, and I don't think anything's going to happen until they're cleared.
Right.
Now, it could come out that they actually that they face fines or there's regulatory issues or whatever comes of it. I think it's unlikely.
Yeah, I do too.
But even if it does, I think there's a pretty solid floor. Like worst case scenario, I think would be $10 a share.
Yeah.
Maybe slightly below that, but I just think it's unlikely. And it is going to be a little bit frustrating for the coming days, weeks, months until we actually hear that those investigations would have come of them.
Yeah, I agree. There's still big names in this. You know, isn't there a Clinton in this?
Hillary Clinton or Chelsea Clinton.
Chelsea Clinton is
on the
board of directors. Yeah. You also have Google that's involved with this. So, in my opinion, there's just so much good leadership going on with this one that it's going to take some patience, but I think that it'll pay off. If you have the opportunity to continue to accumulate a position on Clover, then I would, if it were me, do so.
I think most likely scenario is they pay a fine.
Yeah.
And we move on our way. I don't think a fine ends up materially impacting the stock.
I don't think so either.
So I think it's just let's move on for it. Daniel Camarena from FedEx Studios asked, should we be excited for Rocket earnings? Hell yeah, you should be excited for Rocket earnings.
Should be excited for Rocket earnings. Some interesting conspiracy type theories coming out, and I was actually following some of the Reddit threads on this. You know, this is not Wall Street Bets that I was looking at, but I was just looking through Reddit. Did you know Berkshire Hathaway has $8 billion in investments that they have yet to have disclosed?
Yeah, if you looked at my Twitter, you'd have found that out as well.
So how about you go do that at Fatman Zoom over at Twitter and myself at Own the Chaos if you guys want to go give us a follow. But there are rumors that potentially some of that $8 billion includes Rocket Mortgage.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Just rumors, okay? Just rumors, just speculation. But yes,
it is the type of company that Berkshire would invest in.
Yes, and if you start putting some of the breadcrumbs together, there's some things that make sense. That why Berkshire would have something like this. Rocket is one of the largest companies, and I know this has been painful, but I think that I would, for one, be excited for earnings coming up. I mean, you're talking about all the housing market that went crazy, parabolic. Zillow went insane. They recently had earnings. So, yes, I would say that next week, is it next week or the week after? It's 23rd.
For Rocket?
Yeah, 23rd, right?
Not sure.
I think it's the 23rd. Anyway, it's coming up within the next week or two.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, the 25th.
25th. So, you know, this is definitely something that I would be excited for. We had last earnings were pretty non-reactionary, I would say. But I think this time is going to be a different story for Rocket. At some point, Fatman Zoom, at some point, this is going off.
Yeah, we're going to see a massive boner.
Yeah.
Boner. Did somebody say boner? Boner is it? So March 3rd also for Clover earnings is the one thing.
Okay.
So that's not too far off either.
No.
March 3rd for Clover.
Yeah.
So that could be good, and hopefully they address the investigation. Zoom did go off today. I don't know where it's sitting. Is it still around 3%?
Zoom went a little
2%.
crazy. Zoom went crazy. I have no idea why. I really don't.
S&P entry.
Yeah, you had mentioned that earlier, but maybe that is what it could be, but I really can't tell you why. First 20 minutes of the market, Zoom just went bonkers, and went up over 450. For those of you guys who are in the crew, you guys know that I've been sitting in this. My average is around 348. And I know Fat Man Zoom's got some from down in there as well. But yeah, I don't know what to think of Zoom right now and why it's doing what it's doing. Maybe it is S&P whispers. Who knows? But either way, I'm not complaining. I'm happy about it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I don't know what it is either, but we've known this move was going to come. I mean,
Yes.
It's really been moving in just continuation. I don't know if I'll call it continuation, but it has been moving. It has been, you're right about under 400. That was insane.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But that was one of our bold predictions, S&P 500.
Yeah.
For Zoom.
Yep.
That would mean huge things for the stock. Going back to Clover, Chamath, some people were mentioning about IPOD. IPOD has done really well today.
Yeah.
And people were wanting to get your thoughts on IPOD and IPOF. IPOF is $15 down 0.5% today.
Yeah. IPOF was up like to 1550 pre-market, and then IPOD, I really have no idea. I'm just checking the news real quick. Nothing. I have no idea why this is moving. I think this is just all speculative. IPOF had a strong move earlier this morning and kind of fizzled out. But I think, my sentiments remain unchanged as far as IPOD and IPOF are concerned. I think they're going to continue to do well. And if I had to put my money somewhere on any of these SPAC plays, it would be in Chamath, We Trust.
Yeah, I would agree. So, I was going to make a point about, IPOD. I don't know when we're going to hear who they're merging with in IPOF, but I just got a gut feeling that's coming soon.
Yes.
I feel it's coming.
It's been awfully quiet.
In my bones. Yeah, that's why, is because Chamath's been quiet. And partly you could think it's because of the investigation and the Hindenburg stuff. He doesn't strike me as one to really hold back from those type of things.
Yeah, he doesn't back down from that kind of stuff.
And so this makes the most logical reason, unless maybe they're putting Clover in the S&P 500 as well. Just kidding. That's not. I don't think they meet the requirement. But anyways, IPOD. Makaja says rumor Impossible Foods. Is that true, or you think that's a joke?
I think it's a rumor.
I think it might be a joke too.
Oh,
He might just be joking. I do think I think that one of Chamath's plays is going to be a lithium play.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which would be huge.
Yeah, I could see that.
And everybody who's getting excited about EVs, like, I wouldn't get into EVs. I'll get into something that benefits EVs and benefits all the companies.
Yeah.
We talked about that.
Yeah.
And lithium battery is the biggest pain point and logjam for these EV companies. Semiconductors as well. Yeah. So those two things, addressing those are going to be huge.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's going off?
It's still moving. It's making its way towards all-time highs here. So just talking about IPOD, it's up 6% on the day and might be starting to run into the close here. Sitting at 1614 with 1620 being the high of the day.
Can Drive Shack run into the close?
That's a good question.
What an asshole of a stock. Just kidding. Just kidding, because actually it moved well, but it was on the watch list and it has not performed.
Is there a lithium mine that I would buy? Nothing right now, team coaching. Most of them have a ridiculous amount of debt. The miners on just about any kind of precious metal or otherwise industrials are usually just trash stocks. So you got to find one that doesn't have debt or anything like that. Eagle the 6. Yeah, so let's just kind of circle back here a little bit. So if you guys are just joining us, CCIV looks like is going to be officially the target for Lucid Motors. As the title says, is it a buy? And I think at this point, with it continuing to roll up here, it's up 550% just about from its default SPAC price. This is going to be a $12 billion merger, the largest EV merger to date. But in my opinion, it's still too high. Still not something that I would consider buying all the way up here. And I think you're going to get an opportunity to buy it at a lower price.
A lot of people are shouting out car lots, which is up 9% today.
Yeah, so this is one that we talked about. We actually put a video out a couple weeks ago about this being one of our favorite stocks under $20.
Yeah.
And it is doing really well today.
And it did have a move down, surprisingly. I mean, going below $9 was insane.
So it looks like they had their first Wall Street bull, and that's why it's making this move.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, this, even down here, is crazy. I know it's made a 10% move.
Yeah.
Below $10 is even still crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I actually got into car lots. For those of you who are wondering, I bought car lots at around $9.55. So doing pretty good for me today. I'm having an all right day on this one. I think that car lots, if you look at the industry, that it as a whole, especially if we compare it with something like Carvana, I think that this is definitely one that deserves to be higher, because just given the industry that it's in. And you look at the market cap compared to Carvana's, and it's absolutely insane. So this has a lot more upside.
Yeah, it definitely has huge upside. Lavraj said, Elon said during his recent Joe Rogan interview that lithium isn't the issue with batteries. He said nickel and cobalt are what is needed. I feel like I have heard him say, I feel like he said something about that on Battery Day as well, maybe.
Yeah. All of those raw materials are at it, are becoming tougher to mine. So lithium, all of them, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you buy anything else today?
Yeah, I added to Disney today.
Oh, you did end up doing that?
Yeah, so if you guys caught last week, I actually ended up buying Disney into earnings. So as we all know, buying stocks through earnings is risky. And Disney was making a really nice move up above 190 and actually ended up going up to 195 and after hours trading last week during earnings. And so then I took some. I didn't take a crazy amount. I just decided to buy some, thinking that this was going to make its way towards 200. And really the next day, I thought that was going to be the day that it ended up hitting 200. But the overall market had a pretty shitty day last Friday. So, and Disney suffered from that as well. So then today I decided to take it upon myself to add to it, and felt really good about it. The reason being is that, we've made plenty of bullish statements on Disney, and I think $200 does come for this thing sooner rather than later. Nothing but great stuff on their earnings call. Yeah, it looks like 206. Actually, it looks like 206 and after hours trading is where it ended up spiking to after their earnings came out. So, I think that this is one worth continuing to just kind of scoop dips on. We talk about this all the time, having a good core group of stocks, of good companies that are worth buying dips on, and Disney's definitely one of them.
Yeah, and speaking of earnings, Kebi Zamadi asked, so I'm considering a short-term swing trade to capture any runs heading into earnings for either Airbnb, Etsy, or Square. Which one would be best? I have positions in all three, so this is a brief add-on.
Let's take a look at the chart. So I think my first inclination is to probably not go after Square, because Square has just gone absolutely nuts. Yep. I have taken some profit on Square. I have enough that I'm comfortable just holding on to. I don't want to sell anymore. So Square is probably going to be out for me. Bitcoin actually ended up crossing over 50K today. Yeah. Which was another bold prediction that we had made at the end of 2020. We thought that would probably happen. Was not expecting that to happen within the first 2 months of the year, but nevertheless it did. And so if you guys don't understand why that impacts Square, Square is directly invested in Bitcoin, also has some of their business models surrounded around cryptocurrencies in general, whereas Square also has the business side of things, and their POS systems are awesome. So really good stuff for them. But Square's too high at this point. So that's not something that I probably would go after. We look at Etsy's chart. Why is Webull acting up here? So we go to Etsy's chart. This is actually down on the day. So a little bit of a pullback. That might be something that reasonable that I may consider adding on to. What was the last one?
Was Airbnb.
Airbnb, if we look at this chart, first of all, I love the stock. I think that they're going to continue to do great things, and we've been talking about this since day one of their IPO, that we really loved the company, the stock in general. I think this is up too high as well. Reason being is because I think that this one is still risky. And the reason I say that it's risky is because I need to move this up. Sorry, guys. The reason I say it's risky is because of it being, oh, shoot. Let's flip it back. There we go. The reason I think this is a little too risky is because of how much it's moved up, and we still have the lockup period and everything else to worry about as well.
So which one are you going with?
I'm going to go with Etsy.
Etsy, that's what I thought. Other earnings. So people are asking about Peloton, Affirm. Affirm has gone down since earnings. What is a good entry? And thoughts on Peloton. We kind of group them together because Peloton is Affirm's largest client, and they both have had earnings recently.
So, yeah, Peloton. I actually own some Peloton as well. Bought some on the dip down at 146, kind of where it's sitting at right now. Had some really nice moves up above 152. This is definitely another good opportunity, I think, in my opinion, to probably grab some on a dip. If it comes back down and retests around 144, 145, would probably look to consider accumulating, especially if it comes back down to around 140.
Okay, cool. Don Frown wants to know if we're staying live until earnings.
Yes, we are. Always, my man.
What does Brad think about Pinterest at its current price?
Uh-oh, that didn't sound good. Are we still live? Okay. I don't know what happened there. Pinterest at its current price? Mm-hmm. Dealing with some technical issues here, guys. Sorry about that. So Pinterest is one that I think that it probably needs to cool off a little bit. I wouldn't be buying it all the way up here, in my opinion. We said this move was going to happen, and it did. Now that it has, I think it's a little bit too late to get in. But I think it's probably worth just pumping the brakes a little bit and kind of waiting for this to pull back. I think that if it comes back down to the mid-80s, then potentially that would be a good buy there.
Bro, speaking of cooling off, Palantir is down to below $28. It's down 12.5%. Man, I might scoop some of this up if it gets down to like
$26.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it at 26.
Yeah, I mean, even if it goes below 27, I might just get a starter in it.
Yeah.
I mean, this is ridiculous.
So if you guys don't know why Palantir is actually selling off today, they came in with a loss of, I think, about 7 cents.
8 cents. Yep.
8 cents. So, not great earnings at all, but they ended up beating on revenue too. So there's a lot of upside here to Palantir. In my opinion, I still think that this is one that I would be bullish on. But I think that, we got to wait for the bleeding to stop. If it comes back down and retests and we start to see the selling slow down here around $25, $26 a share, then I probably would look to potentially hop in on this one.
So this is only their second earnings that they've reported.
Yes.
The estimates were the exact same, which was 2 cents and 2 cents.
Yeah.
They missed both, and they missed their first earnings by a huge margin. They projected a 2 cents a share positive, and they ended up actually giving us a loss of 49 cents.
Yeah.
Now, back then, the stock was at about $16, and off of that horrible miss, it moved up to $31.
That's crazy.
Off that horrible miss.
Yeah.
To me, what that looks like is they have no idea what to project, so they're just throwing out 2 cents.
Yeah.
And why that actually, I'm optimistic on that is because you're getting closer to that number. So you lost 49 cents. Now it's your loss of 8 cents.
Right.
You have a couple things going for you. One, you're getting in the right direction.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see what their guidance will be. Are they going to go for another 2 cent job again?
Right.
But as time goes on, they're going to get more accurate with their earnings. But they're moving in the right direction. You went from a loss of 49 cents to a loss of 8 cents. I'm actually okay with that.
Yeah.
Couple that with the fact of if you can replicate that trajectory, then you should be net positive for next earnings, which is already really good for stock. So if you can manage to beat next earnings plus come in positive, then that could set this thing off.
I agree.
So I actually think, we talk about the red zone. This is a perfect example of the red zone. Yes, we have to wait for buying, but this would be on my radar right now and being like, okay, when can I get back into this thing? Because from a long-term swing trading, this looks beautiful. And at some point, a short-term perspective, it could bode well as well.
I agree. I like
everything.
I like it.
So you guys talk about this all the time. And also, I'd like to point out, this is why we're patient with IPOs.
Yes.
This is why we wait, and great opportunities like this come up. Michael Hanna said, I loaded on Palantir. I couldn't wait.
That's all right. I think that, depending on where you got it at, I think that you'll be okay as long as you're willing to be a little bit more patient with it. If you have a longer term approach, I think you'll be just fine.
Yeah. A couple people were talking about Don Fran video, the shirtless.
Oh, Nick, yeah.
The shirtless stud is what Joel called him. If you guys haven't seen that video, we did an options competition on Don Fran's channel. So check out Don Fran's show. We basically presented 3 stocks each, and Don picked one play. Don, did you get in the play yet? Check out the video, see which one he picked. But we had a little surprise in there, which was hilarious. It was fun to do, fun to watch. Don, what you got? What are you looking at right now? Oh, sorry. I thought you had one of those up.
Oh, no.
Dan Dalton said, what's a good entry for CCIV? I know it's high, but I like this stock, so I might just get a starter and scale in. Nothing wrong with that. I regret not getting a starter in Airbnb at 140, which seemed high at the time. You're talking about the IPO. I think these are different.
They're much different, yes.
So, we could talk to you about the entry, but I guess the theme of the day is comparing apples to apples. I don't think that's an apples to apples comparison.
It's not. Airbnb was an established company over the last 10 years that actually has a product.
Yes, and an IPO is different in how it functions and executes.
100%. But if you're looking to, the only instance in which I would consider buying CCIV is if it came back and retested $36 a share.
Wow. Okay. Cool. Again, I'm not getting into it. I'm not getting in the stock. So
yeah.
It's just so tough because remember, Dan, listen, this could continue to run off of hype only. I don't want to enter into coin flips that I'm hoping that hype keeps it going.
Right.
That I'm hoping that people that get emotional come into it. Like, that's just not, to me, that's not a winning strategy or sustainable strategy over the long term.
No.
So it could run. So don't come back here saying, oh, look at CCIV. Oh, you were wrong. Or somebody said something about BNGO. Give me a break. Like, things move. That's what happens. There are stocks out there right now that are probably moving hundreds of percentages, if not thousands of percentages. That doesn't mean that I should regret not getting into those stocks.
Yeah.
So the issue is like, all right, what you have to think about, Dan, is this has been a rumor, so there's been a little bit of hype. Now it looks like it's about to happen, but it's still a rumor, so there's more hype.
Right.
How much more hype can we have? At some point, then, it'll sort of settle out, maybe start a little bit of a downtrend, profit taking, and then the next key date or catalyst is the actual merger, which SPACs, the reverse merger vote, or the vote, and then the merger will happen. We've actually seen that bring a sell-off.
Yes.
So I would be waiting for that date and a sell-off, the vote, and then a sell-off, and then an opportunity to get in lead up to their first earnings.
Yeah, there's just so many other opportunities that I think that Lucid will give you or CCIV will give you that now is just not the time. Don't give in to the FOMO.
They said Don looked oddly uncomfortable next to his shirtless buddy.
It was pretty hilarious. It was pretty hilarious.
Mitch asks, anything you guys are looking to get into tomorrow pre-market? I'll tell you, Palantir, I will be looking at that potentially will be on the watch list.
Yeah.
That's one I am looking at. I'm also looking at earnings that are coming on the horizon, not just this week, but really next week's earnings, looking for opportunities to get into that. Nothing off the top of my head that I'll be looking to get into that I haven't already gotten into. Anything you're looking to get into?
Tomorrow, nothing really in particular. I'm really just kind of looking at the positions that I'm in and looking for potential dips on. So, the market has been a bit flat. So I'm not really looking for anything in particular that I really want to scoop up unless for some reason we see, a pretty significant drop off on something that I just cannot refuse, which, can be just about anything. A couple of things that I'm looking to add to, though, that might give me opportunities. One of them we've already talked about is Peloton. The other one is potentially Penn. If Penn National comes back down and touches 110 or even gets close to sniffing 110, maybe looking to add to that as well. I have an average here of around 115, so it's just hanging right down and below that. So that might be another one that I might add to.
I forget what stock it was we talked about recently, but it's in this same vein. So Brian Demerith says, love what you guys do. Thanks, man. Crispr, 156 now. Has earnings tonight, down today, possible buy or stay away. Now, first things first. I'm not telling you what Crispr is going to do. I don't know what's going to do. But your comment is very interesting, and it's something, I wish I remember which stock it was, where you say it's down today, possible buy or stay away.
Yeah.
Things don't always have to run up before earnings, and because it's down today doesn't mean it's down. If you look at Crispr, look at last earnings till now. Last earnings, it was at $88 after earnings.
Right.
So I don't care what it's done today. Yes, it's moved down majorly since 200, but still, when you look at 80, that's over 100% move.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
150% move. So it has had a move down. I just want to point that out. Just because it didn't run, that's because it's been on a massive, pretty much straight up after its last earnings.
Yeah.
So I would be, what are your thoughts on this? I'd be, again, this is a Kathy Wood ARK Invest play.
Yep.
I didn't realize that. I don't know. It's a coin flip to me.
I think it's a coin flip as well. I wouldn't want to be in this during earnings.
And if this gets below like 150, 145,
look out below.
This has a far way to drop.
Yeah.
So see if it tests that. But again, it's a coin flip. I could see it running to all-time highs to $220 and going off. I could also see it. I can see a world in which it goes below 110, and we're talking about $100 as a support.
There would have to be something serious going on in their earnings for this to make a move back up to all-time highs.
Yeah.
Serious.
Yes. Yeah. I would agree. And the reason it did move, let me look at the quarterly. Oh my God, are these right? These quarterly earnings, the quarterly income statements are looking horrible.
It probably is right.
I'm sorry, guys. I wish I knew more. I full disclosure, I don't know much about Crispr in general.
Most biotech companies have horrible balance sheets, just full disclosure. CRISPR is not, immune to that. So that's not surprising.
So do you think this is just hype off of ARK?
Some of this is probably hype off of ARK, yeah.
Okay.
You also have to understand, folks, like the reason that
genomics is a hot.
Yeah, genomics has been absolutely insane. And the reason that ARK created an ETF surrounding around this is so that they could find ones that were good, take some of the ones that might have potential but aren't as good, and hopefully one of them or a couple of them pop off to move the ETF higher. So could CRISPR be in that one still? Sure, it could be. But I sure as hell would not want to be here during earnings, because I think what's going to happen is you got a lot of people that have been riding this hype around ARK Invest and just genomics in general, and then earnings come out and everybody's like, oh shit, this company actually is trash after all, and then everybody sells, and then that'll give you the opportunity to buy in at a lower price. But that's what happens a lot of times. We saw this like in the renewable energy sector before Biden came in and really kind of brought a lot of that to the forefront. Plug Power, that company before like it made its huge run was just absolute garbage. And there was a couple of short squeezes here and there, and then earnings would come out. Everybody's like, oh my God, look at all this debt they have on the books. Let's everybody run for the hills. And I think that we could see something similar with Crispr.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Yeah.
And then buy it. If you really want to get into it, buy it after earnings, in my opinion.
Rob T, I predict Crispr goes down, but I'm not selling. That's fair.
That's fine.
That's fair.
If you're in it for a long term, I'm sure it'll continue to do really well. But if you're trying to figure out an area to buy it, it wouldn't be the day of earnings.
Joel asks, is there an aggregated site to quickly look at earnings and drill them further in depth? Yahoo earnings, I think, is probably...
Yahoo Finance. If you go to Yahoo Finance, you search any ticker and click on the analysis tab, and it'll give you everything you need to know as far as earnings expectations are concerned.
Yeah. Studio Plug, do you guys trade the warrant stocks by any chance?
Not really.
I don't.
No.
Nick Roy.
You can, and it's just less volume, less liquidity there.
I'm sorry you guys are missing out on CCIV, never going back down below 45.
Okay.
I'm going to pin that.
I was going to say, I'm going to take a screenshot of that.
I love as we're getting into close, I love the comments where people are like, what's up with blank, blank, blank?
Yeah.
What's up with Apple today? Starting to reach its value. What do you mean, what's up with Apple today? Things are red today. Things are red today. Actually, if I look at Apple, I feel like it was only down like 2%. Not even 2%. It's at 133. What's up with anything today? I mean, overall, the Qs, anything in tech, has been red today, and I would argue
Big
what's
tech
not up with up. What?
Big tech has just been red in general today.
I mean, down 1.5% today is not bad.
No.
So, guys, these things happen. Like, do you not try to knock on you, but like
every day can't be
really
red?
Think
can't
every day is green?
No.
Like,
we've had a phenomenal start to this year.
Don't say what's up with Apple unless Apple drops
for no
plus
reason.
10%.
For no reason.
Yeah. So look at the other stocks that move with it in that space.
Yeah.
Look at its competitors, see how they're moving. And I haven't looked at this. I have not looked at it. I mean, let's look at like Microsoft and Google. And hopefully my hunch is true.
Yeah, big tech in general.
But like you would consider Google potentially a competitor.
Yeah. They are green today.
Well, how much are they up?
Just barely. Not even 1%.
Oh, 1%.
Yeah.
Okay. Microsoft is down 0.5%.
Yeah, so
Tesla's down. I mean, that's
so many
the same.
mixed, so many big tech names that are just kind of mixed all around today. So it's not really something that I would be
Amazon's
all that
down.
concerned with.
Amazon's down. Facebook actually looked pretty good today, up 1.5%.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens tomorrow, and then the bell rings. Red or green day?
Tomorrow, I think we are green tomorrow.
Yeah, I think we bounce back tomorrow.
I think today was more of a dip buy day, and then tomorrow we start moving back up. Let's not forget, today we hit all-time highs in the market.
Yeah.
As soon as it opened up, everybody went crazy, and then it fizzled out. So, it is what it is. Market's officially closed. One stock in particular I have my eye on is Ring Central. I think that they crush earnings today. Let's go ahead and just bring us out to the 5-minute chart, actually, and that we can kind of keep an eye out and just kind of watch. This is, if you guys aren't familiar with Ring Central, they're kind of along the same veins as like a Fastly, cloud computing, that sort of thing, business solutions. They've done really well for themselves, obviously with a lot of these other stocks as well in this space due to the pandemic and where things are headed, remote work, all that good stuff. So I think that Ring Central actually does pretty well. We'll see what happens. They have earnings after hours today. Right out of the gate, they're actually down about 1.35%, but still kind of unusual, normal I should say normal after hours trading during earnings.
Yeah, let me see if let me see what Twitter has in store for us. Oops, trying to send me
A twatter.
the old twatter. I used to have Ring Central actually.
Did you?
Yeah, Avant, my first company.
Oh, yeah.
We had Ring Central.
Nice.
Sorry, is it Ring? Is that the ticker?
RNG.
RNG.
Ring Central. After hours, they are green right now, about 0.25%. I think they do pretty well.
Oof. Okay. Yeah.
I don't have Ring Central money. Yeah, people crack me up when they look at prices of stocks and think they can't afford them.
Yeah.
Got to go after the percentage. The potential for a percent move, the upside here. Ring Central comes out and with some monster numbers, this thing probably continues to go up. Remember, guys, just because you have a small account doesn't mean that you can't buy something like Amazon, unless you don't have $3,000. Then that's a little bit trickier. But you can do actual fractional shares with a lot of brokerages as well. Charles Schwab would be one that I would suggest going after. You can get fractional shares there. Definitely not poor shaming. Jason Toscano, you and your tattooed chef spamming. Don't think I don't see you. Governor Hill, just go fractional. See, that's what I'm saying. Just go fractional. Robinhood does provide fractional shares as well, for those of you who are asking or wondering, but I'd rather go with Charles Schwab.
All right, let's see what we got. Any updates on that?
Topic of discussion for Thursday, by the way, will be Robinhood, as they will be
We got
going
the earnings for Ring.
to talk to Congress on Thursday, so it'll be interesting to see where that goes.
So they beat. Finally, they beat. They haven't beat for 2 earnings.
Wow.
So 27 cents was the estimate. They came in at 29 cents. Sales beat pretty nice, 335 million versus estimates of 317 million dollars.
And it's down after hours, down about 4%. Any disappointing numbers in there?
No, that's still news. They did guide slightly lower for next quarter.
Okay.
Maybe
That's why.
To do it,
Yeah.
with it. Estimates 24 cents a share.
QS has earnings. Does QuantumScape have earnings? They're up about 3% after hours here.
Nice.
Yeah, Savvy Money Show. That's how you do it, man. Just invest in good companies. People think that's not the way to go about doing it when you're first starting out, but it can be further from the truth.
Yeah, they haven't reported yet.
Thanks, Studio Plug Memphis.
SoundCloud, did we get? He had a donation and he put something in there.
Oh, he did. I didn't catch it. That was my bad.
I can pull it up real quick. Was it
Quantum-
Genesis?
QuantumScape is really moving here after hours. They must have some really good earnings.
Oh, here we go. Any word on Genesis Healthcare? That was the question. Thanks for the donation.
Genesis Healthcare. GEN. I mean, it's a penny stock. Not a whole lot of liquidity here. I think that I would be careful with that one.
Let me double check. Baidu is on fire. You lying?
Crispr, going back to Crispr here. Nothing too crazy there. EH, people were asking about. Damn. I don't know what happened there, but I don't want any parts of that.
Crispr did report.
Okay.
Okay, there's a lot to unpackage here. So it looks like they missed. We got to confirm this. Vinay, confirm this for me, please. Estimates were a loss of $1.27.
Damn.
Did I say that was the estimate?
I don't remember.
I'll look it up. But $1.50 is a loss of $1.50 is what they came in at.
Yeah.
PR. What's Crispr's ticker?
Just to answer a question here in the chat, Alan Guo asks why I don't trade penny stocks anymore. That is actually not the case. I own several penny stocks, to the likes of BRLL. Actually got into that at 7 cents. Shouted that out in the Chaos Crew if you guys want to be into that. It's actually trading at 54 cents with a high of 80 cents last week. So killed that one. MITI still in. RMRK. SOAN, SOAN. I'm also in PVSP. So still trading them penny stocks.
Yo, so that is correct. So they're projected at a loss of $1.27. They came in at a loss of $1.50 for Crispr. And
damn.
I mean, I don't know why this is even green. Like, net loss of $107 million versus net income $30 million. Same quarter last year.
That's crazy. I mean,
sales $200K, down from $77 million last year.
Jesus. 77 million?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Looks like it. Which is why I was looking, that seems right, because that's why I was like shocked about.
I got to be honest with you. Like, I am not the genomics expert by any means, nor will I say that I'm a biotech expert, other than the fact that almost all of them I know for a fact are drowning in debt. But that's alarming.
Well, that is correct. Let's just put this in perspective, people. And again, maybe there's something I don't know, but last year, this quarter,
yeah,
they reported $77 million in revenue and a net income of $30 million and a profit margin of 40%. Great, right?
Sure.
So then this year, they had they had net income of $30 million last year. This year, they had a loss of $107 million. $107 million. And let me just tell you, and 200,000 in revenue, and it was 77 million last year. Like, let me tell you what's happened since that profitable quarter last year. Every quarter has gotten progressively worse. The loss of 69 million in net income.
Yeah.
Next quarter, loss of 80 million net income. Next quarter, loss of 90 million net income. I don't care what Kathy Wood says, like maybe for long term.
Yeah.
But like then a loss of 107 million. This is going in the wrong direction, people. Unless they tell us something that's optimistic, I am not interested.
It is a bit of a head scratcher.
Unless they're saying something.
Don Franz says, "What's debt these days anyway? You know we got a huge printer." Well, you're not wrong, my man. But I will say debt eventually has to get paid. Usually it's in the form of convertible shares. That never spells a good thing. Crafty Shades of Gray. First of all, I know that you are a frequent flyer here. I just got to shout out that name again because it's awesome. Thanks for the donation. Appreciate it. $9.99. Thanks so much for that. She said, gave my sons $100 to open Webull accounts. Which stocks should I tell them to buy? Please and thank you. Love you guys. We love you too. So this is a great question. What's your favorite stock under $100 right now? That you, if you're getting your kids invested, which you have a child invested in stocks, most of them are over 100.
Yeah, that's a good question. My favorite stock under $100 right now would be, well, so let me answer that question, the specific question.
Okay.
Which stock should I tell them to buy? None. You should let them pick the stock.
That's a very good point because Mini Zoom picks her own stocks.
Yeah, she picks her own stocks. Now, I kind of guide it a little bit.
Yeah.
I talk her through it, but like she bought ExxonMobil. And you were like, what was she thinking? She bought ExxonMobil last year when it was looking bleak.
And she's doing all right now.
So for me, it's an education tool, and her account's killing it. But under $100, it depends on what they like.
Yeah.
Depends on how old your son is. But do something they're interested in. Do like Mattel toys. Do
Apple.
It's not under $100.
Oh yeah, it's not $100. Sorry.
But yeah,
like
that's
stuff
the point.
that they actually use or interact with every day, and then see what price it's at.
Like she loves Apple.
Right.
So if you said 150, I would definitely say that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get them into things they see on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
Disney, Apple.
Right.
She flies, so Southwest is an easy one that makes sense.
Yeah.
So Southwest would be my stock for a child's portfolio long-term. Travel will be back. I would say Southwest would be my stock.
I like that. Okay.
Yeah. But listen, this is an educational tool. It's great you're doing it. Kudos to you.
Yeah. 100%. 100%.
Mini Zoom stock of the month. Mini Zoom got into Lululemon at a high.
She sure did.
Mini Zoom stock of the month, honestly, would probably be. She tells kids. What did she say? We just asked for this.
We did.
We said, if you could tell kids to buy 3 stocks, what would it be? I didn't say anything. I just asked her the question. She said Apple, Disney, and Spy.
Yep.
True story. I have it on film.
Yep. That was awesome.
What was the other earnings? We had Ring Central. We had Crispr. Was there one more we were looking for?
There was QuantumScape. Did you get QuantumScape?
Oh, that's the one that hadn't shown up yet.
QuantumScape is up 2.5% after hours. Not really sure why, unless numbers did come out.
And they definitely have earnings today?
According to the YouTube chat. So
Which our
take
chat
that for
is
what you
pretty
want.
reliable. Let
Yeah.
me just confirm. Yep. Yep. Okay. Yeah, so we're just waiting for that.
So no official numbers from them?
No, there's nothing yet.
Okay. So waiting on the QuantumScape numbers. Okay. Luis Ortiz just earned themselves a timeout. Thanks for that. Appreciate you.
Bye.
Bye.
Is this a 5 o'clock free crack giveaway?
We did say Bitcoin went to 50 and then went right back down to 48.
Yep.
I'm still bullish on Bitcoin as a whole. I did want to say this because in the level 3 live trading session this morning, you had mentioned it, but I didn't want to jump in. But you talked about Bitcoin as a currency and the challenges.
Yeah.
I'm bullish on Ethereum, not as a currency. It's not a currency, but as a tool to benefit Bitcoin as it grows and crypto as a whole as it grows as a platform to build blockchain. Now, the other one that I want to say is Bitcoin Cash.
Yeah.
That's something we should be talking about soon.
Okay.
But that is made. It's a spinoff of Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, I have my eye on it. I'm wondering in how much, literally, it just benefits off of residual, just having the name Bitcoin sentiment. And its focus is for transactions. That is the goal. What's going off? QS?
So VZ was what the
Verizon?
gentleman was talking about. Yeah. Berkshire Hathaway did end up, it looks like, revealing that they took stake in Verizon. So that's
Dividend
why it's up
bot, baby.
2.5%. So yeah, this is actually one that's in our bot. Appreciate the call outs, guys, but you don't have to blow up the chat. So you still deserve to be put in timeout. So it's up over 2.5% now, Verizon is. And this is actually part of our dividend bot. Do you want to just plug that real quick?
Yeah, because next week we actually have the next round of licenses going out. So we know that not everybody, people have shown interest in dividends, and we have built a bot that trades for you, a trading bot. It does all the work for you. And we have licenses that we're releasing just for the crew right now. But basically, all you do is set it up, fund money into a TD Ameritrade account, and then it does all the trading for you. We've selected a certain amount of dividends. It's an actively managed portfolio where we add more stocks to it as time goes on. And it also has an algorithm so it knows when to get into a stock for the dividend and tries to best determine when it should be in it, and also sometimes sell if there's a massive move down.
Yeah, it's an automatic trading bot that trades for you, so you don't have to. It takes all the guesswork out. It's pretty awesome stuff.
Since we've added stocks to it, Team Coaching said the bot is rocking. It is, because we added ExxonMobil into it. We have Verizon, where we added Verizon into it. So it's looking really good, and this is just awesome for the bot. I mean, I'm so happy for the bot.
This is incredible, actually. So I saw somebody talking about, it says you need to stop with the voiceovers. A dog's going off.
Shut your mouth.
Let me just one more time.
Did we do
Shut your mouth.
We haven't even done a voiceover until
Yeah, I did the free crack.
Oh. John, I'm not plugging Bitcoin Cash. I just said it's one thing I'm looking at, but that's the goal of it. So full disclosure, have not made a determination on it. So yeah, we'll see.
EH went off after hours here a little bit. It was going off, and now it's selling back off. It was up 11%, now down. Man, it's all over the place. What the hell?
Whoa. Oh, by the way, that is crazy.
Yeah, what the hell?
I just want to close out the bot. If you guys are interested in the Dividend bot, go to ownthechaos.com.
Yes.
And sign up for our newsletter. So just contact us and just tell me you're interested in the bot. It'll give you a checkbox if you're interested. And if you're in the crew, go to our Discord and just message me and let me know that you want to sign up for the bot webinar next Friday. Is it next Friday? Sorry, I'll actually tell you. So next week, we're going to do an info session. And at the end, we'll actually release the link for more licenses. So there's no obligation. I actually talk with Jake, who created the bot.
Yep.
And we'll actually go through and sort of answer any questions you guys have, tell you how the pricing breaks down, tell you how the bot works, and do all the back testing. And it looks like, oh man, I should know this. It's Wednesday at noon. It should be Wednesday at noon. I'm not sure why it's not showing up here. Wednesday at noon Eastern time.
Yeah. That's going to be great. So go to ownthechaos.com. You can sign up for it. And we're still just kind of slowly rolling this out, so just kind of bear with us. But for those folks that are in, it's absolutely crushing it for them, which is pretty awesome to see.
There is no opening account minimum, but we do talk about how much we think makes sense. This is one of those. Again, sign up for the webinar, the info session. Any question you will get answered then.
Yeah.
I don't want to spend too much time on that. What do you guys think about IPOF going with Reddit? Just speculating.
I don't know.
I think Reddit is a perfect platform for any chamath to go off.
Yes. That would just be poetic at best.
If you think about it, like, we talk a lot about chamath, but I still think chamath is relatively under the radar when you think about the overall, visibility of him. I think people are just starting to get to know him. So he is a man of the people, just like Elon. So anytime something happens with Elon, Reddit feels like Elon's got his back. Reddit feels like, to an extent, somebody like, why can't I remember his name? The Dallas Mavericks owner, Mark Cuban. Has their back. Chamath is the type of person.
Yeah.
And I think the more it picks up, it's a perfect fit. Like, not just IPOF, anything that Chamath does and says.
Yeah.
Bro, I think I'm good. It's 420. I'll take one. Ooh, QS looks like it's trying to go back up. I'll take one last look at QS. I don't have the numbers, but it says they reported.
I got nothing.
No. But I'm good.
Okay. So I guess that's going to do it for us. So thanks for tuning in, guys. If you guys, this is kind of like a chill, laid back day, as I guess the market was just kind of figuring out what to do today. We're trying to do the same thing, but I hope you guys got a little bit better of a grasp on what you should be doing with CCIV and Lucid Motors as a whole. That's going to do it for me and Fat Man Zoom. If you guys, again, want to be part of the Chaos crew, hit the join button next to subscribe. You'll get our watch list, access to our portfolios, what we're trading in and out of, all that good stuff. Also, access to the Discord group. So if you guys want to be a part of that and help support the channel, hit the link in the description or join next to subscribe. We'd love to have you guys over there. All right, that's going to do it for us. Thanks so much for tuning in. Fat Man Zoom.
Bye.
These nuts.
I quit this bitch.
So damn hard.